Chapter 21. Cutting the Ties. 1975. It was October in Florida. The weather was still very warm and muggy. I was huge, miserable, and 10 days past my due date. We had no idea if it was a boy or a girl. My mother-in-law swore it was a girl and said things like, "She's stopping to powder her nose." Russ teased me toward the end, gently touching my swollen belly. He would say, "It's time you knew the truth. There's no baby. You have a large tumor. We just didn't want to alarm you." I took his jokes in stride, but I was serious about this second round of Lamaze classes. The illusion that concentrating on something else would ease the excruciating cramps seemed absurd. Even so, I prayed these tiny, calculated breathing techniques would minimize the pain, if just a little. Then I remembered a time with my dad years earlier when I was complaining of my hand hurting. He joked, "Come here. I know how to fix it. Let me hit your foot with this hammer and you'll forget all about the pain in your hand." I looked at him, rolled my eyes, and replied saltily, "Really?" He could hardly hold back chuckling at his own joke. I chuckled too. At the time it seemed rather clever. However, it got me thinking. The Lamaze teacher might be right. Maybe I could transfer the pain. As the waves of contractions became more intense, I began the breathing exercises. During the fast puffing, I raised my hand and slapped my thigh. Every ounce of energy was directed toward my hip, helping to ignore the pain. The transferring actually worked. Russ sat quietly and watched the whole process. I never cried or begged him to stay. My thigh was black and blue for weeks, but it was worth it. The pain was bearable as long as I beat my leg and breathed with pursed lips. It all went well until it came time to deliver. I was told the doctor on call always used forceps. I let out a blood-curdling scream as he inserted the large metal tongs and literally pulled Jennifer out. Her face was bruised on the left side and the sclera of her eye was bloodshot. I was extremely angry with the doctor, but had no idea how brutal or uncaring he really was. Jennifer wasn't even 7 hours old when a nurse came in with papers and handed me a pen. I read the paper. It detailed how they were going to cut my fallopian tubes. I had discussed this with the associate doctor weeks earlier. I told him Russ and I hadn't decided how many children we wanted, so he assured me they could tie my tubes and it could be reversed later. I told the nurse I wasn't signing that paper because I'm having my tubes tied, not cut. A few minutes later, she returned with the same paper, visibly upset, and insisting, "Please sign this. They're waiting for you in surgery." I still refused and tried to call Russ, but wasn't able to get a hold of him. Moments later, my delivery doctor burst into my room and yelled, "Sign this paper. We're waiting for you in surgery." I began to cry, resisting his demands. I told him I was to have my tubes tied, not cut. Shoving the paper toward me, he shouted, "We don't even know how to tie tubes. Now sign this." He had a job to do, and nothing was going to prevent him from doing it. I cried all the way to surgery. For all my tears and anxiety, anger, and frustration, I had to believe the procedure was meant to be, as nothing happens that escapes God's will.